Hello, everyone. My name is Katan. I'm the founder of BossBayBlog.com, and today I am going live to share 21 tips or 21 mindset hacks for entrepreneurs who want growth. So, the purpose behind this conversation, as stated in the description, is really just to inspire food for thought, inspiration for change, give you some ideas, get your brain going on different ways that you can look through life with a different perspective to help you grow and get to where you're trying to get to faster as an entrepreneur and as a dreamer. It's okay for us to take our time to get places, but it's also important to acknowledge where maybe with a shift in our mindset, we don't have to necessarily slow down the process, right? We can go just at the pace that we're supposed to go at. And having a great mindset can sometimes help you with that process. So that's the purpose of this live. I'm going to start in exactly 2 minutes. So anyone that's watching can fast forward once at the 2 minute marker, because I want to give everyone an opportunity to kind of just hop on, join in, let us know what state you're watching from. Um, Let me know how you found Boss Bay Blog, if you found us online, all that kind of stuff. Just feel free to share. And in the process of that, I'm going to drop the links for anyone else that might want to tune in. So today I'm going to talk about these mindset hacks, and then some of these are coming from my own personal experience, and some of them are coming from me watching other entrepreneurs and them giving their own insight on things that maybe they wish they had done differently. So it's a combination, but it's all coming from real life experience. Okay. We'll be starting in just 1 minute. Oh, happy Saturday. If I didn't already say that, I can't remember if I did or not. Starting in about 30 seconds. Oops, silly me. I forgot to start on Instagram. There we go. Whew, excuse me. Alrighty, everyone. Let's go ahead and get started. So feel free to share what state you're watching from. I'd love to hear who we all have on the live. And if you're an entrepreneur, feel free to drop your information in the comments. So today, as I said, I have 21 mindset hacks for entrepreneurs who want growth. If you would like to join in the conversation, you are more than welcome to join. So number one, protect your mental. A lot of times entrepreneurs go into opening a business or starting a business, or dreamers, go into working on their craft, not realizing how important their mindset is in the process of them doing that. So oftentimes they assume that as long as they have the tools, then they'll be able to achieve. But what we fail to recognize sometimes is that a bad mindset can really ruin a lot of great plans and a lot of great productivity. So you have to work extremely hard to protect your mindset and ensure that, yes, you may have your rocky days, and we'll talk about that in these mindset hacks, but always make sure that you're trying to do things that are going to help support your mindset. You got to protect it and hold it dear to your heart. Hi Charlie, happy Thursday. I mean, happy Friday, happy Saturday. Happy every day except for Saturday. Sorry guys, I normally stream on Thursday, so my brain is wired to say happy Thursday when I go live. I'm trying to work through that. But you got to protect your mental. You have to protect it from other people. You have to protect it from your loved ones sometimes, and you have to protect it from yourself sometimes. Because sometimes, I know I did it again, we have these intrusive thoughts that will make us feel as if we're not worthy, we're not good enough, or we shouldn't keep going, or what we're doing is not important or impactful enough. And you cannot give in to those intrusive thoughts. You have to know how your brain works, and you have to start doing things to work with it, not against it, so that you are protecting your mental at all costs. If you know that you're someone that once you get into a funk, it's really hard to pull yourself out of it, then it's extremely important that you stay away from conversations and things that get you stuck in that funk. So if you know that a conversation is leading to a place that's going to have you in a dark spot for a long period of time, then we just need to stop revisiting that conversation over and over again. I'm not saying that you have to avoid real life, because some conversations in life you can't always project. Sometimes it just happens. So we work through it. We build. The goal is not to avoid, but it's to understand that we're not actively placing ourselves in a negative mind space just because. So that's important. And then, sorry, I got tons of alarms, y'all, because like I said, I'm not normally doing it on Saturdays, but we are doing the live tonight. But that's extremely important. And I think a lot of times people misinterpret that. They don't understand the importance of how, if you don't have a strong mental, you may not make it in entrepreneurship. And it is hard. Entrepreneurship is not easy. Okay. Yeah, I love that. It's very hard. Entrepreneurship is not easy. Life is not easy. Okay. But there's also something we have to remember. Sometimes we make it harder than what it has to be. So I'm not saying make it easy. Everything doesn't need to be easy and perfect, but don't make it harder for yourself. Protect your mindset. That is tip number one. I got to share this to our, I have a private directory member chat, and I need to make sure that everybody gets to this chat, because just in case someone need to hear this tonight, I'm here to deliver. Okay, moving on. So the next one, the first tip was protect your mental. The next one is protect your physical. So this one is pretty simple. Take care of your health. It's your top priority. Lately, I've been on my weight loss journey, my health journey. I should call it my health journey, because even though I am losing weight, it's less about just the weight loss and more about what comes with the weight loss, which is the change in my mood, which is my mobility, which is me feeling like I have more energy because I've been working out so much. And it's a healthy weight loss journey. It's not one where I'm trying to, put myself through unhealthy regimens just to reach a certain status or a certain look. And it can be very hard to forget that, lose sight of what we're supposed to be working out for. You're working out for endurance. You're working out for health. You're working out for self-defense. You're working out for those kind of things. But in this world, it's very easy to pull up social media and then feel like you have to look a certain kind of way. So really, the main focus is protecting your physical. If your physical is not right, you're going to have issues. Your mental and your physical are the first things. Having a business is like having a child, in a sense. Okay, not completely, but in a sense it is, because it's always open. Even when you're closing the shop, it's still open. The things that need to get taken care of will always need to be done by you. If there's ever issues or problems or stuff that needs to be resolved, you will always be the face that needs to be resolving that. Even as your team grows, people will still be looking to you to resolve these problems. So even through delegation, your business is still there. It's always there. It's going to continue going. And so for that reason, I want to ensure that you are taking care of your physical. Go to the doctor or whatever form of physical care that you do, because I know everybody's opinion and perspective on how they take care of themselves and their wellness is different. So I'm not here to debate on how you do that and what's the way. I'm here to say, if your body doesn't feel right, and even if it does feel right, check up on it, because we don't want to be in a situation where we miss out on wonderful opportunities because physically we have worn ourselves down. We don't want to be in a place where we give up on ourselves because physically we're not feeling up to it. We don't want to be in a place where we stress ourselves out so much that physically we are unable to do what we would normally have done for our business or for our dreams. So your physical, got to be going to the gym. And then another factor of this is that when you're working out, your body is releasing, it's releasing that stress. It's releasing that tension. It releases chemicals that actually help with the support and the health of your body, your muscles. So if you're not working out or doing something along the lines of fitness or health, it's time to get to that, whatever that looks like for you, because I'm not a doctor. So if you have injuries, you need to go and get that checked out. But find what that looks like for your life, whether it's yoga, whether it's walking every day, whether it's working out and weightlifting, but we got to get to it. I was reading somewhere that it said we should have at least 5,000 to 7,000 steps a day. And that might sound like a lot for some people, but if you just go out and start walking, get on the phone with somebody and just walk until you reach your steps, it kind of goes by faster than you would think. But again, I'm not a doctor. Make sure you check for your that stuff on your own. That one is always and forever will be important to me for many reasons. One of them is because I've seen people who have given so much to the community and so much to their friends and family, and they've worn themselves down physically, and they either are no longer with us or they're still wearing and tearing themselves down. So that's a choice you have to make for yourself. You have to have the mindset to say, my physical is important and I'm making it the priority. So on those days when you want to make other people the priority, you got to circle back to yourself, because if there is no you, there is no business. That is the second mindset hack. Say, yeah, walking, even if it's something as simple as just doing like, weights. Sometimes when I'm on consultations and I'm listening to my clients, I'll just lift my arms up with my weights and they'll be like 5, 10, or 15-pound weights, depending on the day. And I'll just keep going, working out my muscle, working out my body, but something that we are doing to pour into our physical while also staying on top of, making sure we're well. All right. The next thing is protect your dream. So what I mean by that is we got to stay away from taking irrelevant opinions and making them more than what they are, because that's exactly what they are, irrelevant. And when I say relevant, I mean not relevant to your dreams and your success. So we need to be looking for people who are experts in the fields that we are trying to develop in or grow in, or people who are experts in other areas that are going to help support our business growth. But the biggest problem that I see with entrepreneurs is that they are releasing their dreams and their goals to people that have opinions that are irrelevant to their growth and their success. It doesn't mean that an opinion can't be valuable. Feedback is valuable. Opinions can be valuable and they are valid to that person. However, if you take too much information in and you're not figuring out how to quiet the noise, you're going to get to this point where you feel overwhelmed and you're over criticizing yourself. And so it's extremely important that you don't go taking irrelevant advice from people who are not relevant. I can't tell you how many times a person has had an opinion on something that I was doing or something that I set out to achieve. Hello. Hello, Rosalia. Thanks for joining. Hello, good evening, AL Publishing Consulting. Thank you so much for joining. I'm just sharing 21 tips for entrepreneurs, 21 mindset hacks. But like I was saying, I can't tell you how many times I've had people say things that really were irrelevant and they didn't have any experience on what they were talking about. And they're just saying it because either they're scared for themselves, for me, or they're just projecting their own insecurities onto me. And there's no actual facts coming behind it. And so that's why when it comes to my business, my dreams, my goals, things that I set out to achieve, I don't talk about it with people that are not relevant to the conversation. If you're not my business partner that I'm partnering with to do a specific task, I don't talk about it. If you're not my client that I am providing a specific service for, I don't talk about it. If you are not my mentor that I am receiving specific insight from, I don't talk about it. We have to do better at protecting our dreams and not allowing people to even think that they have a place in having a conversation with you about what's going on with that dream when they don't have the credentials to do so. Extremely important. So take that mindset hack and keep it with you, very close to you, because like I said, there's a lot of noise out there and I just want to help you quiet the noise and focus on what matters, which is achieving your dreams. All right. And a lot of times people are just saying stuff. They're not even saying the true stuff. They're just speaking out of anger and frustration. And we'll get to that in a moment. Okay. So find an outlet and be a human. Find, yes, absolutely. You got to, absolutely. So you got to protect your mental, you got to protect your physical, and you definitely have to keep that stuff close to you, man. I'm telling you. Charlie says, say it again for the people in the back. I'm telling you, protect your dreams and keep them close to you, because there are people out there who have been told that they couldn't win. And so there's still a chip on their shoulder. And when they see someone else who has the audacity to want to win for themselves, of course, something in them is going to feel a little unsettled. And sometimes people act on that internal feeling and sometimes they don't, and they practice self-awareness. But in many cases, they don't. And that's why it's important to keep it close to you and don't take advice from everybody. I can't tell you how many unsolicited opinions I've come across. I had one time I was doing a project and I was seeking photographers, and I had posted in multiple different communities. I posted on different platforms, just looking for photographers, looking for DJs, looking for X, Y, and Z to do this collaboration with, anybody interested. And I had so many negative people. And I say negative specifically because if you are not positive, you are negative. There is no in between. I mean, there is technically a neutral, but in this sense, you're either supporting the conversation or you're bringing negativity to it. What are you bringing to this conversation? Productivity or non-productivity? That's the better word. Let me not say negative. Let me say non-productive. So I have so many people coming in, giving their unsolicited opinions. I had a photographer who's like, this is terrible. You're wanting somebody to come and take photos of you for free. You want da-da-da-da-da. And, just going on. And then talking about how I've mentored 20 people, or I've been a mentor for 20 years. And my time of mentoring, I just hate when people do this. It makes me sick. You're not going to get anywhere. I don't understand. And then came back to say, well, I understand your intentions. None of that was going in my mind or in my head for multiple reasons. And the reason why is because I set out on a mission. I know what I'm talking about. And I'm looking for people who see the value in what I'm doing. And so in the process of that, I had over 20 to 30 photographers come and sign up to want to be a part of this opportunity. Now, obviously, I couldn't take all of them. So I selected the ones that I felt like would be the best for the opportunity. In the process of selecting, I didn't even realize it, but I was going to end up collaborating with another photographer who just so happened to be at the event with the DJ that I collaborated with. So shout out to DJ One and Greenhouse Photography. And in this collaboration, we've been able to bring over 20 individuals that are going to be coming out and getting some professional headshots at our upcoming event. So just moments like that, if you were to listen to the noise that people put in your ear simply because they feel insecure about themselves and they see you doing something and it's like, how dare you have the audacity to do something different, you know, you wouldn't be able to achieve. So you got to keep those dreams close to you and don't take or ask for advice from people who are irrelevant to exactly what it is that you're trying to achieve. Because there's a lot of people out there who just giving irrelevant information and advice, has nothing to do with what you're trying to do, doesn't make any sense. They're just talking to talk. So keep that in mind. All right, the next thing, find an outlet, be human. So this is number 4. I want you to find something that makes you feel alive, that makes you excited. It doesn't even have to be business related. It can be something that you do for fun, riding a bike, going outside, doing an exercise club, writing a book, whatever it is that you enjoy. You just need to get out there and do something that makes you feel alive and makes you feel human. Because in this world, the system of life has become so robotic and so transactional to the point where it just feels like we don't even get a chance to just breathe, you know? So I want you to find something. Everybody's business is not everybody's business. Amen. Amen. It's absolutely the truth. And another thing too, I got to circle back to that, Charlie. He'll make me come back to this message. Another thing too, just because one person doesn't see the value in your vision, even if they are a professional or an expert in that area, does not mean that you won't walk through another door and see a professional who sees the value in your vision, whether they are in the same level of expertise or the same industry. It doesn't mean that you won't find someone who sees the gold in what it is that you are doing. And I say that to say, I can't tell you how many times I had moments like that when I was trying to develop projects for the community, for my brand, where people would have all these negative things to say. And instead of me listening to them, I continue to just move on to the next person. I even had people who would circle back. That will circle back to be loud about telling me that I'm not going to succeed, telling me what I was doing was stupid, telling me it doesn't make any sense. Just things like that, that you got to have some level of like unhealed hurt in you to intentionally try to make someone else feel like they're not going to win or they're not going to get anything positive out of what they're doing. And to be there just to say that and not to offer any true or real support. It's insane. So in the process of that, you have to keep going because there's somebody else in another room who sees the value in what you're doing. And I kept going and I was able to find professionals who not only saw the value in what I was doing, but they brought more people. They brought people who came back and patronized my business. They brought people who brought people to come to my events. They brought people that purchased tickets to be able to attend at my event because they saw the value in what I was doing. And so as an entrepreneur and a dreamer and a creator, whatever you are out there, anything you're trying to achieve, even if it's not your business, but you're trying to get to the next level in your career, I need you to know that you have to keep your dreams close to you and you do not take insight and advice from people that are irrelevant to where you're trying to go. Okay. And also pay attention to the way they give you the insight, because I got another mindset tip for you. And it is number 20 about leading with aggression. And a lot of times when people are leading with aggression or trying to belittle you, it's because they're coming from a place of being intimidated, or they're coming from a place of being discouraged or disheartened. And they're hoping that that energy transfers to you so you can feel disheartened too and not continue to work hard to achieve and put yourself out there. So it's really important that you know that being an entrepreneur is a mind game for sure. And once you understand how people operate, how some people operate and why they operate, you start to realize that it has nothing to do with you and everything to do with that person. And you start to detach your need to take responsibility for other people's emotions or perceptions of you. And you start to focus on your need to fulfill a solution for people that value that solution. That is what being an entrepreneur is about. And that's what I said. And that's why I said that. She said, you better say it loudly. Oh my. Oh Lord. She said, if you can't say anything good, just shut up. Okay. okay, AL Publishing Consulting going in. But no, I mean, there's truth to that. If you don't have anything conducive, positive, uplifting, if you're not coming with a solution, with ideas, why, for why, what? And then on top of that too, you have to pay attention to how people deliver their advice to you. A lot of times people will deliver their advice in public to send a message, especially if they're trying to do it in a group, whether it be online, whether it be in person, a group of people. That's because they wanted an audience to deliver that information to you. Everybody doesn't always have positive intent. Doesn't mean you can't take a lesson out of every time someone approaches you, but it also doesn't mean that you have to sit down and really take that, weird activity. You can accept that it's something you're not wanting to be a part of, and you can go ahead and move on to the next thing. But it's very important to pay attention to how people deliver things to you too. Yes, the way you deliver the message does matter. I know some people might feel like it doesn't. It matters because it says a lot about the person when they deliver the message. If I feel like, what's a good thing I could say? Okay, if I feel like this bracelet doesn't look cute on you, and I want to tell you, hey, this bracelet is it's pulling away from, your skin tone, or it's pulling away from your dress. I'm just going to go and tell you directly one-on-one. I don't feel the need to sit down in front of everybody and tell you, hey, that bracelet, I'm not going to do that. And another thing too is when I come to tell you, I don't feel the need to try to, do extra with it. I'm just going to tell you. So, that's just me. But when people do that and they give you that feedback, it tells you a lot about them, and it shows you very quickly if they are relevant or not relevant. Sometimes you just got to practice discernment and keep it moving. This week has really opened my eyes to the unseen hurt that people carry. Yeah. And just from that conversation that you and I had one-on-one, it definitely brought me back to those days of just, remembering how quickly someone can project their own insecurities onto you because you are trying to achieve something, or simply because you are a good person, you're a kind person, you're sweet. And it just seems like an easy target for them because you're there. So yes, I do understand. People can project all the time. So that's why you got to protect your mental, protect your physical, protect your dreams, keep outside opinions that are irrelevant out, and protect your dreams. You cannot talk with everybody about your dreams. Even fellow entrepreneurs, you cannot talk about with your dreams all the time, because everyone's intention you are not able to see. So it's important that you don't just go out there, talking about everything. If you're struggling in business, find you a mentor, and then let that conversation be with that mentor. It's not for you to go running down the business streets telling everybody I'm struggling with business. You got to protect your dreams. So you need to make sure that anytime you're talking about your dreams and you're developing your dreams, that it's in a room with people that are dedicated and committed to you. And it's just that simple. That's my advice. All right. The next thing we shared, find an outlet, be human, relax, breathe, do something that just makes you laugh and makes you feel fun. It's going to help you to get away from that busy hecticness that kind of happens. The next thing, don't put your leads, partners, clients in a box. This one is big. This one is a big, big tip. I know you guys have heard me talk about my story when I was working in retail, and I had this gentleman come in who was casual. He looked like maybe he had come from the beach, or he might have just, rolled out of bed and threw on a wife beater and kept them moving. But at the end of the day, he was casual. He was cashed out. And the people that I was working with that day made the assumption that he probably wasn't going to spend any money based off of how he looked. So when he walked through the door, he got a look, but he didn't get a greet. No one was really checking for him or on him. And I have always been taught, regardless of what a person looks like, you always treat them the same. You acknowledge them the same. Nothing changes, regardless of how much you think they have or how much money you think they have. So I went up to him. I greeted him. I spoke to him. I started asking him what he was looking for. And he ended up spending over $1,000. And I made my sales goal for my personal goal and for my management shift that day. So just having that mindset of not putting him in a box simply because of how he was dressed helped me to grow my business. And if I had the mindset of, well, he's dressed casual, so he's probably not going to spend any money, and I put him in that box, I would have never made my sales goal. I would have never had that interaction with him, which was just so awesome. And I would have never been able to feel like, I truly helped this person regardless of what I thought they had or didn't have. So you offer people the best service that you can provide. Now, I'm not saying that you have to go and break your back. That's not what I'm saying. Get the message. The message is, don't put your leads, your business partners, and your clients in a box. Sometimes people put their leads in a box. I've had entrepreneurs tell me things like, oh, well, there's just nobody here that, needs the products or services that I provide. So you've already put yourself in a box. Because me personally, if I'm in any environment, any group, any organization, if I'm here, I'm here. So everyone that is there, I'm going to meet them and learn everything about them. And then I'm going to know exactly what I can offer to bring a solution to their life. And that is exactly how I approach all of my partnerships, relationships, and friendships in business. That is how I approach it. I never in my mind thought, well, she doesn't need this service, so she's not a client. No, I always learn more about the business owners. And if it's not something that I think they need in that moment, they might have a friend or a family member or, affiliate that needs those services. And so by me speaking to them like they were a top tier client paying $1 million and telling them about the services, telling them about the promos, sharing the deals, that puts me in a position that when they are ready to spend money, they're coming to me because they remember and they know the solutions that I provide. And even if they're not spending money with me, they're bringing someone to me because of the experience they had with me and because I made it clear what solution I could bring them. So never put your leads in a box. Just because someone maybe isn't your direct lead doesn't mean they don't know someone who is your direct lead. And I read somewhere a while ago in business that when you mess up a good business relationship, you lose about a network of 250 people. So if I mess up a relationship with 5 people simply because I feel like they don't have they're not looking to spend money, that's over 1,000 people now that I have lost out on. But if I were to speak to each and every one of them like they were paying customers or they're going to be future paying customers and tell them about the services that I provide and give them the insight on what I could do to help their life, then guess what? Either they're going to end up purchasing or they're going to bring people to purchase because I have made myself known and I'm creating that brand awareness. So don't put your leads in a box. Don't put your business partners in a box. Just because you think that someone has a certain amount of money or you think that someone isn't spending money at a certain time, don't put them in a box. You can't do that in business because what you do is you miss out on really great sales, relationships, collaborations. So practice being open-minded and understanding that everything is not what it seems. And the person who might be coming to you for a $5 sale today might be the person coming back to you for a $5,000 sale in 6 months. And that is very much the truth. And actually, I couldn't even get that out fast enough. And actually, that has been the case for quite a few of my clients. They started off with a $5 purchase or a $10 purchase or an inquiry or a consultation or let me join your group. And they ended with, I'm about to spend $5,000 on some marketing services, or I'm about to spend $4,000 on this website, or, I want you to ship me out 1,000 business cards, or I want you to do this, or I want you to do my social media. So if I was to look at every single one of them and just assume that they weren't ready to spend money, and that's going to be the reason why I don't give them my information and put them in that box, then I would never have made the money. I would never have those clients. I never have their support. I never had their sponsorships because a lot of them have ended up being patrons or sponsors. So you can't put people in a box. That's the biggest mindset hack that you can have. And even when you're working with entrepreneurs, fellow entrepreneurs, even if they're not able to give you something instantly, you still don't want to put them in a box. So just because she said she's not interested in your photography services, don't put her in a box and say she doesn't want to spend money. Just say, okay, thank you so much. Here's your card. Here's my card. If you ever change your mind, here I am. And if you're ever hosting events or I'm hosting events, we can stay connected. I'll follow you on your page and I'll check in. Simple as that. Because that person who said, I'm not interested today, can very much be calling you down the line to say, I need your help or I need your services. Sometimes people don't have the best experience where they went initially and end up coming back because they feel like they needed that support from you. And they're ready to spend the money because they know that the service is going to be valuable because you've proven yourself to be credible with your consistency or with your delivery and being clear that, hey, even though I'm not your ideal client, I appreciate your time. Here's my card. Let's connect on Instagram. And if I'm ever hosting something, I'll share it. Just something as simple as speaking to someone and communicating. But oftentimes I see entrepreneurs kind of shift in tone and in energy when they feel like someone is not instantly going to spend that money. And we cannot put people in boxes. I'll give one last example and then I'll move to the next tip. But I did have someone say something along the lines of like, nobody was going to buy their products or something along those lines. And they were kind of implying that the people who weren't going to buy partially, maybe it's because they didn't want to spend any money, something along those lines. And What they weren't aware of is that the people that they were discussing and talking about are some people, my clients, who have spent a lot of money on different services in my business and in other small businesses, and actually really love to shop with small businesses. So just because they didn't throw down $5,000 immediately, don't put them in the box of, oh, they just must not want to spend money. Maybe you need to give your information to them. Maybe you need to speak up. Maybe you need to see what their needs are first and then start telling them, how you can help them or what solution that you provide. But we can't just say that they just didn't want to spend money, because number one, they spend money on multiple businesses, including mine. And number two, they attended. So if they showed up here for something, whether it be to learn about your business so they can spend money later after they budgeted, whether it be to fund or sponsor your business so they can just support a small business, or whether it be to refer people to your business. But if they showed up for a reason. So don't put your leads in a box, because you miss out on great money, great customers, great supporters when you put people in a box on what you think they can do for you simply because of what you initially see. Yeah. All right. Next. Just do it if you really want it. That's the next mindset hack. Stop the procrastination. Just do it if you really want it. And I say this because I think sometimes our brain sometimes we want to give ourselves reasons for why we don't achieve things. We say things like, oh, I couldn't do it because I had this. No, if you want it, you're going to do it. How you do it might be a little different than the next person. But if you want it, you're going to do it. So if you come to me and you say something along the lines of, oh, I really wanted to come, but I didn't see the link. You don't use phone. You didn't send out a phone number. You didn't text. You didn't drop an email. You didn't say, hey, I need help. You didn't go to the website. You didn't want it. You didn't want it. And it's okay if you didn't want it. But if you do want it, then just do it. Just whatever it takes to get it done, and continue to be solution oriented, so that you're not one of those people that are using or wasting brain power coming up with reasons for why you can't achieve something, when in reality, that's the same brain power that could have been spent on thinking about how you're going to achieve it. So if you want it, then just do it. That's the mindset hack. All right. The next one is take accountability for your drive. This kind of relates back to this mindset hack. So taking accountability for your drive, to me, what I'm really saying is just to be transparent with yourself about what you really want, and understand that it's okay. Give yourself permission to say out loud what you really want and what you really don't want. It's okay. Sometimes we don't want to say out loud that we don't really want something as bad as we say we do. Or we don't want to say out loud that we're scared of what could happen if we actually go for our dreams. But you got to take accountability for your drive. You got to. And that's a mindset hack for me. If I know I don't want it, then I got to just tell myself, I don't really want this. And that's why I'm not really working as hard for it, because I don't really want it. It's not really on the top of my priority. And when I tell myself that, I give myself permission to ask myself, what do I really want? And then when I think about what I really want, guess what? That's where I'm transitioning. That's where I'm focusing. And now I'm about to go 10 times harder, because this is something that I really want. Anything in your life that you really want, you're going to do whatever you need to do to get it. Because I see people in business who will say things like, oh, I couldn't do it today, or oh, I was tired, who show up in other areas of their life like Superman or Superwoman every time, because it's something that they want, or it's something that they feel like they must do. For example, somebody might say, oh yeah, I'm going to this party. They'll be at every single party because they feel like that's what they want to do. I want to be out in the life. I want to have fun. I want to do these things. But then when it's time to come and show up for this business planning session, you didn't show up. You didn't want to show up. You didn't really have that drive to show up. So what I'm saying is not to shame yourself for not showing up, but to take accountability for your drive and what you really wanted. Because what people will often do is they will say, I couldn't show up. I couldn't show up because I was so busy. And then I woke up and I was tired. And because I was tired, I didn't do this. And I realized that I had to take the bus. That's all a waste of energy and time. You didn't show up because you didn't want to show up, because it wasn't really that important to you, because you don't really want it. And that's okay. Move on to something that you do want. Because when you find that thing that you do want, you're going to be there all the time. Even if you're not, if it's something where you're showing up in a different light. For example, if you love skincare, you're going to make skincare. You're going to sell skincare. You're going to produce it. You're going to show people different patterns. And you may not be going to physical pop-up shops, but you're going to be on these live selling shows. And if you can't do a live selling show because maybe you don't have the time, you're going to be posting pictures. And if you can't post pictures, you're going to be sending emails out to people who subscribe to you. There's something you're going to be doing to show up because you do want this, just like in any other area of your life. So I see people who do show up for other areas of their life, but when it comes to their dreams, they don't show up for themselves, either because they're scared they won't be successful or simply because they just don't want it. And if you don't want it, it could be one of two things that you might need to think about. The first thing is maybe entrepreneurship is not for you. Some people probably don't want to hear that and probably think like, oh, why would you say it might not be for you? It just might not be for you. You might need to hire an entrepreneur and you just be the business owner if that's what you want to do. If you're focused on making money, that's the first thing you might want to consider. The second thing you want to consider is maybe what you're doing is not aligning with your passion, and that's why you're not as excited about it. These are just concepts to think about in the process of this, because if you keep not showing up for something, it's not always just because there was something that happened, and it's because you don't want it. And there's a reason why you don't want it. So ask yourself, what is that reason? And be honest with yourself and take accountability for the drive that you have to pursue this project so you can move on to what you really want to do. That's the mindset hack. The next thing, create work-life boundaries. This one is extremely important. This mindset hack helps with growth because you start to value and honor your time a little bit better. I have always been one to, not anymore, but I was always one to be available and open at any time and day of the night and just be trying to be accessible to everyone all the time. And it's quite impossible. You're not going to be accessible to everyone all the time. You shouldn't be accessible to everyone all the time. And that's in business and in regular life. Now, if you have a automated system, that's different. If you have a website, that's different. If you hire an assistant or you hire a team member, that's different. But you 24 hours a day with no sleep and no rest and no pause, absolutely not. Get a website, get a phone number, get an email. Everybody has it. They can send you a message there if they need assistance. And when you wake up in the morning and you are clocking into your job, that is when you go to read that information and you check that. Unless you have a service where people are reaching out to you outside of business hours, that's different. But that service should cost a lot more because your time is expensive. Long story short, create a work-life balance. There should be days when you are turning off technology, you are turning off everything, and you are focusing in on yourself. Because if you don't turn off, you're going to start to feel yourself being overwhelmed. And that's not the goal. The goal is for you to be loving what you're doing and falling in love with your passion and what it is that you're executing. So keep that in mind. All right, the next thing that I have, you are not ChatGPT. I know this might be a funny hack for some people. You may not understand what I'm meaning by this, but I'm going to break it down. As entrepreneurs, we are problem solvers. Naturally, we want to solve problems for people. I understand that completely. But you are not ChatGPT at all. Oh, thank you. Appreciate you. You are not ChatGPT at all. And so for that reason, oh, and welcome. Welcome, Lyric. Yes, welcome. I hope I said your name correctly. Sending love from Texas. But you are not ChatGPT. Don't try to be it. Let people do their own work. That's a mindset hack. And that goes back to valuing your own time. Creating a work-life balance is also understanding that you're not ChatGPT and you're not Google. People can go use ChatGPT and Google when they have questions and when they need help with stuff. They can go and use that and search that. It's free. It's $0. It doesn't cost you any money. There's no subscription. So the time that you want me to take to figure out stuff for you, you could take and actually just figure it out for yourself. And you have to get into that mind space. I'm not saying you can't help people, and I'm not saying that you can't give out tips. You can be of assistance, but you are not an assistant unless they paid you to be an assistant. I'm going to say that again. I'm going to say it slower because I want everybody to take that in. All those people who overwork, overgive, overcompensate, work themselves to the bone, trying to do things for people that can very much do them for themselves. You can be of assistance, but you are not an assistant. And we got to understand the difference between those two. Being of assistance might look like, hey, so talk to me about starting a business. Oh, you want to go check out this business resource file, HubSpot.com, BossBayBlog.com, NBC.click. You need a digital form, the QueensDigitalStudio.net. You can give them a website. They can go read that information there. You have given them the key to the gate. They take it, they walk in on their own. Okay. Being an assistant is, well, let me sit you down. And what were you wanting to do? And let's write out this plan. That's wonderful and all, but we can't do that all the time. Not all the time. You need to focus on your business. You need to be doing that for yourself. You can be of assistance, but you are not an assistant. An assistant. I keep saying assistant. An assistant. Keep that in mind. That's the mindset hack I'm giving. Now, take it or don't, but practice discernment. The next thing is create a funding plan. This is going to help with your mindset because it's just going to make it a lot clearer. Have a plan on how you're going to fund certain things for your business ahead of time so that you're not having to work as hard, and also so you're not having to do everything out of pocket. It really does help. So whether you're going online and, creating a funding plan, whether you have a business plan and you write down all the things that it's going to cost to run your business or how much money it's going to cost to run your business, understand your overhead, which is how much money it's going to cost to keep your business open. Do that. And then start to create a list of how you're going to get that income. Is it going to be through grants? And if it is through a grant, you have to already have the grant to say that this is going to be the funding you're going to receive. If you don't already have the grant and you're talking about applying for them, then that is not funding that is already ready for your plan. We need funding that is already ready or funding that you are currently able to obtain. So whether that be a 9-to-5 job, whether that be passive income, whether that be renting out homes, vehicles, whatever the case may be. I'm not an expert in those areas. I have been in the rental industry or area, but not an expert in the areas of renting out vehicles and stuff like that. So you got to do that research to find out what works for you so that you have insurance and you're able to, be covered if things don't go the way you wanted them to go. But yeah, we got to find those different sources of income. It's going to help you along the way with your mindset. The next thing is learn how to delegate. So as entrepreneurs, like I said, we are problem solvers. We want to solve problems. We want to help people. And part of being a problem solver comes from the place of realizing someone needs help with this and I want to give you that solution, right? But we have to make sure that we are not micromanaging and we are allowing people to do what they do best. I've worked so many times in business with people where they're so focused on what I'm doing that they are missing the mark with what they are supposed to be doing on their end for the partnership or for whatever it is we're doing. And you don't want to be that. You want to learn how to delegate. You want to learn how to let go of things and hand it off to somebody that knows what they're doing. Now, it'd be different if they didn't know what they're doing. It'd be different if, they're incapable of delivering what it is that you're needing. However, if you've done the research before you hire them, most likely you hired somebody that you trust to do that job. So we start off hiring contractors, partnerships with delegation. Understanding how to let go of something and let a professional handle it, because half the time when you try to be a micromanager, it still doesn't come out crisp and clean the way it would have if you let the experts do what they do best. I've seen this time and time again with entrepreneurs. I've had entrepreneurs that they had a vision, and they were like, I want this or I want that. I'm like, okay, great. So this is something what you're looking like. Then they're like, no, I don't want this and I don't want this and I don't want that. And I'm like, okay, I can create beautiful designs, crisp designs, but there's certain design concepts that you want to keep in mind if you want an effective visual for your audience. So certain things you don't want to do. You don't want it to be too busy. You don't want the consumer or customer to have issues with trying to figure out what it is that you do. You don't want to have photos that aren't real. Like there's different things that you can do to increase the chance of someone either making a purchase or subscribing to your website that I have studied over the years and I have executed for my own business and for multiple other clients. So I know what I'm talking about in this field. And I've had people that have zero design, graphic design, website design experience coming in wanting to do things that, hey, if that's what you want and that's what you want me to give you, I have to give you the disclaimer that the results are going to be based off of what you choose to do. But really, that's not the best solution. The best solution is to just hire someone you trust and let them do their job and not try to be the expert in everything, because there's nobody on this earth that is an expert in every single thing. There's no one that I found. No human person is an expert in every single thing. So when you find that expert, recognize them as an expert and let them do their job. Because what will happen is you'll be so focused on them that you're not doing what you need to do for yourself in this partnership or in this contract. And that's not what we want. Learn to delegate. That is a big mindset hack. Next one, be transparent about your funding and your desires in entrepreneurship. This is going to help you so much. Oftentimes, I think that we're shunned as entrepreneurs for being honest about where we really are. So people kind of walk on eggshells. You know, they don't want to say, I can't afford to buy this service, or I'm unable to do this. They don't want to say those things. And I understand that they don't want to say that because they don't want to come across a certain kind of way. But you got to be direct with people. So whatever it is you're willing to provide, make it very clear. And whatever it is you are able to do or you're not able to do, make it very clear. Express your funding ability, and then allow that person to make the choice on if they want to support you or not. Because 9 times out of 10, you're going to find someone who wants to support you anyways, because they see the vision in what you're doing and they're willing to work with you if you're providing something of value to them. Keyword, mutualism. So it's not just them giving, and you not giving anything. It's mutual. So there's a lot of people out there who you might find that will see value in what you're doing and say, hey, we can have a mutual partnership, and that's okay. But we got to get quicker and better about being direct about the level of funding that we have and what we're trying to achieve with our business and what our intention is when we're stepping into a room, an environment, a community, whatever it is. Just put it out there on the table, because the quicker you put it out there, the quicker people who are interested will flock to what they're interested in, and the quicker people who are not interested in will move out of the way. You might still get a few people that will try to play, the little game of, whatever you want to call that dance that we see in entrepreneurship when marketing or networking, where people are not direct about what they need, what they want and stuff, or trying to get something else out of you, and they don't just tell you that's what they want. But most people are going to respect what you have to say and either move out of the way so someone else can take advantage, or claim that opportunity because they see the value in it. So that's the next mindset tip. Mindset hack. The next hack number 13. Don't worry about who's going to be there. Oh, this one. So hold on. Let me make sure I'm getting a notification on my streamer. Hey. Oh, I didn't even see that you were watching from Instagram. See, y'all, Instagram be doing me dirty sometimes. Hello, Christoph. Thanks for joining again. I appreciate you. Hello, Kalia. Happy Saturday. I almost said happy Thursday again. We have Kalia joining us from Bella Boutique. She is on our Instagram channel. I can only see the comments on YouTube, y'all, so I have to flip in and out of Instagram and Facebook, But hey, hopefully that changes. If it doesn't, we're still gonna rock it out. But okay, so the next hack is don't worry about who's gonna be there. This part is it just does something to me every time when I'm hosting an event or I'm attending an event or people are or I'm advertising an event. I'll have that person who's like, so who's gonna be there? Or I'll host something or I'm attending something and they'll say, so who else gonna be here? Who cares? Who cares? Who the heck cares? I can tell you, I don't. I'm here. That's what matters. I'm here. So whatever I came here to do, I'm going to do it. Whether they're here or they're not here, the show will go on. Who cares? Stop basing your movements and your actions and your energy off of the next person. Okay? I see that so many times. A person will enter a room and they're looking around, deciding on if they're going to give that energy because they're feeding off of other people's. Who cares what they give? Who cares? It's cool to be vigilant. That's different. But to always step into places looking around to see what's popular and what's trending, if you want to focus on what's popular and what's trending, this might not be for you. It's about what's the solution, okay? And where's your target audience? So everything that's popular, quote unquote, or trending is not always going to be where the solution's at. So that's important. So don't worry about what the next person is doing. Don't worry about who's doing what. If you're coming to an event, if you're coming to a function, if you're joining an organization, you join because you want to do it. I had one time an entrepreneur was like, are you going to be signing up for this? Are you doing this? And I'm like, why? If you want to do it, just do it. Don't ask me, just go. You don't need anybody's approval. You don't need to wait for other people. When you go to somewhere, it's automatically going to be amazing because you're there. And that's the mindset you got to have so you can move on to what's important, which is making sure your solution is heard. Because I've been in rooms with 50 people. I've been in rooms with 5 people. And I've had moments where the rooms that were bigger were not as productive. And I've had moments where the rooms where were smaller were much more productive. So it's not about the number, and it's also not about the labels. It's about the productivity of the individuals and what they choose to do when they arrive. And if you're going to be a catalyst, then you have to choose that no matter where you go, you are going to bring that energy and not worry about what the next person is doing. Who cares? All right, next thing. Hack number 14, release entitlement. Okay. I know when I say that, there's somebody out here who's going to hear this and say, I'm not entitled. I work hard. And you can work hard. You might not be entitled. This message might not be for you, but for the person who needs this message, let me break it down. Because you can be a hard worker, but still have a level of entitlement in business that could be holding you back from seeing that success that you need. So as an entrepreneur, there was one thing for sure that I knew when I started this, and that is that everything is reliant upon me. There is nobody else outside of me that I can point a finger to, or that I can say, this didn't work because of that, or I'm not making sales because of them. That's the thing about entrepreneurship. It really is you and your decisions that you make and who you place yourself around and how you spend your free time and how serious you go for yourself. So, or how hard you go for yourself. And sometimes I see where entrepreneurs will start off and they have a sense of entitlement in areas where they should not. For example, expecting that you're going to be receiving services or support. I mean, you get support. Support can be free. Support can be paid. It just depends on you. But expecting to be receiving a certain level of quality, but only able or willing to invest a certain amount of funds. Now, I'm not saying that if you don't have the funds to get to that quality, doesn't mean you don't deserve it. Absolutely not. However, you have to understand that if that's not the type of funding that you have, then you're going to have to work harder. That's just the reality. So a great example would be if you say, I need a website. I need a professional website. Okay, what's your budget? You say, my budget is $25. Now, I personally don't know anybody that's doing $25 websites. Maybe at one point in time, I might have had a promo. I do have free websites for my subscribers on YouTube, but that comes when we get to 200 subscribers. But you say you want a website and you want it for $25, right? So someone designs a website for you at the quality of $25. But you're thinking you were supposed to get more. You want more pages. You want it delivered to you in 24 hours. You want it to be grand and elegant and detailed and intricate. That's not what you're going to receive with $25 worth of funding, because who is going to be able to do that work for $25? So it's not to say that there's not somebody out there who might, but you're just going to have to work to find them, or you're going to have to work to learn how to create your own website, or you're going to have to work or see if you can bargain with somebody to teach you how to do it. But you're going to have to do the work regardless, whether it's the work of finding someone who can help you do it, or it's the work of you learning how to do it yourself. But for some reason, I see, and this is not just an entrepreneurship, so let me not act like this is only entrepreneurs. People will put in this amount of investment, funding, or energy into something and expect this amount of results in different areas of life. If you only put this amount of energy and effort into it, why would you think you were going to get this? And a lot of times people do that. And that is a level of entitlement. You are thinking that you are entitled to extra, even though you have not done extra. And as entrepreneurs, we quite literally cannot afford that mindset. So the best thing that I could ever advise someone to do is, when you are in business with people, contractors, partners, associates, networking partners, you make it very clear what your funding is, and you make it very clear what you're willing to provide in exchange for services if you are not at the funding level you need it to be. Make it very clear from the beginning. And from that point, you find people who see the value in what you're offering, and you guys work together. But you have to understand that you are going to be working and you have to roll your sleeves up. Sometimes entrepreneurs, I'll see them purchase a service and then they just stand there like, you might not be doing the service, but you still got a business to run. I mean, I've had times where someone has like, hey, I need a sales associate, or I need this. Okay, cool. So I'm giving you the sales associate. Now I'm selling your products as a sales associate. But then when I ask you questions about, oh, well, when's your next shop, or what are you doing for your business? Oh, I don't know. To be honest, I haven't done anything. So we're not doing anything. So what are you thinking? Like, you thought I was going to carry the back of your business as a sales associate? No, you're still the CEO. You're still the founder, unless you hire someone to be that. So we cannot be entitled and think that someone is going to carry the whole load for us if we're not willing to invest what it takes to get that kind of service. And even if we're not, maybe you're willing, but you just can't at this moment, that's okay. But you got to be real with yourself. So if I know I can only hire a sales associate for part-time or for X amount of hours or whatever it might be, I'm not expecting her to run my whole business. I'm not expecting her to do the work for me. And I'm definitely not expecting her to wake me up out of bed and tell me, hey, you're an entrepreneur, get up. That's not a part of the package. So release the entitlement and start to be better partners, contractors, CEOs, founders, entrepreneurs, solution finders by asking yourself, how can I be of service and how can I gain service? What can we do to mutually be beneficial here? Whether that's through a paid contract, asking your contractors, what do I need to be doing to make this project successful? What do you need from me so that I can support this project? Not, do I need to do my job? I don't need anybody to do my job for me as a contractor, and your contractor shouldn't. But what do you need to be doing on your end? Because unless you hired a contractor to do every single thing in your business, then you have got a lot of work to do. And there should be no reason why, when the sales aren't hitting the way you want them to, that you are taking your finger out to point it at anybody except for right here. Because we are the founders. We are the CEOs. We are the catalyst of our business. And you know how they say, I think it's like one rotten apple can sink a whole ship or something like that along the lines. If you are the apple and you're supposed to be the owner of the ship too, it ain't going to work. So just think about that. Like, how are you going to be the rotten apple and be running the ship too? It doesn't work. You got to pick a role. So if you're going to get in there and work hard and roll your sleeves up, get in there and roll your sleeves up. But if you're not, then back to mindset hack number 7, take accountability for your drive and just be honest with yourself that maybe you just don't want it as bad as you've told yourself you did, or maybe you don't want it as bad anymore, whatever it is. But you just got to be honest with yourself, because that's the only person that's going to sleep with you at night and knows how you feel and knows what you can or can't handle. So that's the hack. All right, the next hack is it can't be a hobby. So mindset hack, this isn't a hobby. Remind yourself that as you're doing things for your business, this isn't a hobby. And if you just keep throwing that in there, this isn't a hobby. This is a profession. This isn't a hobby. This is my career. This isn't a hobby. This is my calling. This isn't a hobby. This is my passion. Keep telling yourself that over and over and over again, even in the moments where you feel a little frustrated, even in the moments where you realize you need to do a little better. This isn't a hobby. This is my calling. This is what you should be telling yourself, because if you truly believe that, then your actions are going to show the more you tell yourself that and the more you work towards that. But it can't be a hobby if you want to be successful. Now, if you just want to do it for fun, then of course it can be a hobby. And are there some people out there who have created a business out of a hobby? Absolutely. But the way we treat hobbies is a little different than how we treat commitments. Hobbies is a very low commitment. Hobby is like, I'm going to jump in, I'm going to play around with it, I'm going to dabble my toes, and I'm going to jump back out. A commitment is like, this is the real deal. I'm here. It's not for play, or it's not. It can be for play, but you still know you're showing up every time. This isn't a maybe thing. This isn't a just recreational. There's something that's driving you to get there because you have a calling behind it, whether that be to increase your income, whether that be to develop generational wealth, whether that be to help other people and be of service to them. But you got to remind yourself that every time that you're working through stuff, this isn't a hobby. This is my calling. Keep telling yourself that. The next hack, have the same patience. You got to practice the same level of grace that you give these bigger corporations with yourself. And I'm saying this with all love and transparency, but I've seen a lot. How do I say this? I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs that are very gracious consumers. What do I mean by that? I mean, they are extremely gracious. They give grace. They give forgivingness. All of those things, they give that as consumers to these corporations that, in my opinion, sometimes might not even deserve it. They'll walk into a store. I've heard them tell me stories about negative experiences where they've been treated negatively and still go back to the store and spend money with them. They will shop with corporations that maybe they're not the best corporation and still spend money with them. They will see that a corporation is doing bad and still pour into that corporation. That's a lot of patience. That's a lot of gracefulness that we're providing to these corporations. The mindset hack that I give is to have that same level of patience with your own business. So you don't get to talk down on your dreams. You don't get to dismiss yourself simply because you're not doing well in the moment. It's not fair. And honestly, I tell myself, you don't deserve to talk down on your dreams if you have not executed the plan first. Because a lot of times people will just talk about how they're not doing well, they're not being successful, things aren't going well, but you haven't actually executed a plan and consistently stuck to it. So how would you know that it isn't doing well? And then on top of that, sometimes I hear people say things like, maybe I should just quit or maybe I should give up simply because they're having a dry spell. Every business has peak hours and peak times of the year. Every business has peak seasons. It doesn't matter how big or small they are. I mean, you're going to have brands. Let me say almost every business, right? Because I don't work for every business, but I can tell you that I work for a lot of successful brands that have been around for years and years, that have been around before I was born, that I've worked for. And they still had days where their business was down. It was low. They were struggling. Sales were not coming in. I've had to look at sales charts and say, whoa, what was going on last year? Because there was nobody in this store. So if I'm telling you, brands who have been around for years and years and years before I was even born are going through ups and downs, and they're still here, and you're still probably shopping with them, some of them, why would you not have that same level of patience for yourself where you say, I'm going through it right now, but I'm still going to shop for myself. I'm still going to invest in my business. I'm still going to take time towards my dreams. Why is everybody else's dream worth spending and investing on? But when it comes to ours, the moment that we're not perfect or the moment that something is going wrong, we should now just give up. Because the reality is that a lot of these entrepreneurs, a lot of these corporations, they didn't start off as big corporations. Now, some of them may have had support and funding before they started, but a lot of them did not start off like that. Some of them started in somebody's basement, in somebody's garage, in somebody's car. I work for a corporation where the business started out of a truck and turned into, businesses nationwide. So to assume that we don't deserve to keep going simply because we're not where we need to be yet, or because we're not seeing sales or we're having a dry spell, is kind of unfair to us. And I just want to remind you that you need to have that same level of grace that you have for these other corporations and the patience that you have for these other people. Have that same level of grace and patience and understanding for your own business. That's the mindset hack. All right. Mindset hack number 17, move with abundance. Woo! Okay, we're getting towards the end, guys. And man, the closer we get towards the end, the juicier it's going to get. Let's talk about it. Move with abundance. Oh, give me 1 second. Getting notifications on my I'm trying to stay in these conversations, but y'all might have to come to YouTube depending on where you're watching. But okay. All right. Hack number 17, move with abundance. I've seen so many people that operate from a scarcity mindset in business, in friendship, in relationships. And when you operate from a scarce place, you're not able to be your true self. You're not able to have that energy and that light that you would normally carry. Move with abundance. Learn the importance of investing. Learn the importance of being of service. I'm not saying that you have to go and give everything away for free, because it is business and we do want to make a profit, and you don't want to put yourself out of business by doing too much, right? But in the same breath, find something that you're passionate about that you want to give back to the community with, and do it in a way where it does not cut out of your pocket. It doesn't kill your pocket to do that. Because when you're operating from abundance and you're in a place of how can I help? How can I be of service? How can I support? It's just a different feeling that you have. And it's a different way that you interact with people, and it shows. But when you're operating from scarcity, you come across like you are either, negative, or you're just trying to skim and get whatever you can, or, you're not necessarily here for the right reasons or intentions. So operate from a place of abundance and learn how to ask, how can I be of service? And even if it's not something that you can do, might be able to point somebody in the right direction where they can get that help. But just come from a place of abundance and say, I will do my best to support you in areas where I'm able to. Now, if it's something that I'm unable to do financially, physically, spiritually, whatever it is, then I'm not going to lie to you, but I'm going to do my best to try to support you or find someone that might be able to support you in what you're looking for. Be of service. All right. Hack number 18, don't let trauma or being discouraged make you miss out on real support and professionals. So this kind of goes back to the abundance factor. You have to remember that just because you had a negative experience with somebody does not mean that the next person is going to be like that. And you cannot let that be the excuse for why you mistreat people. So if you had a negative experience with an entrepreneur, don't let that be an excuse for why you mistreat the next entrepreneur or why you talk to them a certain kind of way. You have to understand that there's more people out there who are probably going to provide you with so much more value than you ever expected. But if you have a mindset of, well, the last time I tried this, it didn't work, then you're probably not going to run into those people. So we have to make sure we're operating from abundance, but also understanding that everybody is not the same. So yes, you might have had a negative experience partnering with someone, but that doesn't mean that every person that you partner with in entrepreneurship is going to be a negative experience. It doesn't mean that every place that you try to shop is any small business you shop is going to be a negative experience just because you shopped at one small business that gave you a bad experience. So it's important not to attach negative experiences that you've had in the past to new relationships that you're trying to develop for your future, because you miss out on really great people, because people who know their value and their worth will not sit in an area where it feels like you're treating them a certain kind of way because of what someone else did to you. So keep that in mind, because that concept does carry into entrepreneurship as well. I know sometimes we talk about it when we're talking about relationships, but it does carry into entrepreneurship too. Okay, next thing. Hack number 19, study effective communication and socializing. So studying is a huge boost to the mindset. Learning and understanding effective communication and practicing effective communication over desired communication. Woo, man, the growth you can achieve. What do I mean by that? We all have ideas on how we want to communicate with a person. But is the way that we want to communicate with them actually going to be effective in getting the message across? That's the question we have to ask, because it's not always the case. If I'm communicating with someone that does not do well with too much detail and just needs it directly in bullet points, even though I want to give a whole bunch of detail, I might just have to deliver it in bullet points for the sake of communicating the message across to them. And if I say, well, I want to deliver it in detail, and then I go ahead and do that, that's not effective communication, because the message doesn't get across to them clearly. Sometimes you have to choose effective communication over desired communication, because what's effective is what really gets across to someone when you really make it clear what it is that you're trying to do. So that's something that I tell people to practice. And then also socializing, practice studying how to socialize, how to just be, friendly, because I'm meeting a lot of people that aren't that friendly. Or when I say friendly, I just mean learn how to speak to people, learn how to talk to them, learn how to conversate, learn how to disagree with people, and still be professional and still just keep it moving. Learn how to actively listen and actively read. These are really important things that if you practice them, it will help you to develop a stronger mental, and it will help you to grow. So that's something there. The next thing that I have is don't lead with aggression or fear. Lead with listening. So mindset hack number 20. Actually, that probably should have been 21, because that's probably the biggest and strongest one on this list. Don't lead with fear or aggression. Lead with listening. It's very hard sometimes. You have to take a deep breath and you have to learn how to express yourself effectively to whoever it is you're speaking to, because like I've said, it does matter how you deliver a message if you're trying to be effective, right? But in the same breath, even when you don't agree with someone, even when something feels negative, try not to lead with aggression. Try not to lead with fear of trying to make someone feel fearful or whatever it might be. Lead with listening, because when you listen, you're able to understand better. And when you're able to understand better, you can determine whether or not this is an opportunity to show someone why you're the solution, or an opportunity to just leave and go be that solution for someone else. But when you spend too much time trying to lead with fear or aggression, not only do you waste your time, but you kind of disrespect your own time and value, because you are so valuable that you don't have to do that. But a lot of people feel the need to do that. Most times when you're trying to be overly aggressive, it's because you're talking to somebody that doesn't see the value in what it is you're talking about, and you're wasting your time to even be doing that. And in a lot of times, you might be talking to somebody who would see the value if your approach and your communication was different. But because of the way you have delivered your message, they're now concerned and looking at you like you might not be as credible as they wanted you to be, or as they thought you would be. I've had people try to give me advice on things, but it was advice that was coming from a fear-driven place. So now I have to go and do my own research to make sure that this is legitimate. And in many cases, it wasn't. But, when it comes from a place of fear and aggression, you lose credibility, because now a person is looking at you like Maybe you don't have the answer that I need. Maybe this is desperation and scarcity speaking, and I need to go find someone else that's a little bit more in tune and confident in what it is that they know. Let's see. Man, whew, that's a whole word. I'm gonna share this last one, and then I'm gonna come back to that because yes, let's talk about that. Find your safe space. So this last one is really important to me. Um, Everybody deserves an outlet, like I talked about earlier. Everybody deserves a safe space. Um, no matter who you are, no matter what you believe, and no matter what you look like, everybody deserves a safe space. Because when you are in your safe space, it is a safe place to grow, to heal, to evolve. When you are not in your safe space, it's not always safe to do those things out loud. Now, we shouldn't have to stay in that safe space all the time, right? I personally feel that the purpose of a safe space is to help you grow and develop so that when you step out of that safe space, you understand how to navigate through this world with confidence, with peace, with clarity. Because when you go back to your safe space, you're able to release and just be human and not be having anything thrown against you. That's what I feel about that, you know? Um, so find your safe space and find your outlet. Your safe space is not going to be a whole bunch of strangers or people that you don't know what their intentions are with the information you're about to share. Your safe space is not social media. I mean, if it is for you, then hey, to each his own, but I don't feel that social media is a safe space. If you are going through things as an entrepreneur and you're feeling alone, you need to look and find other communities where you can go and connect with people and just be human. It doesn't mean you have to share all of your business, but just to be sitting next to someone that genuinely wants you to win and has positivity for you, it makes a huge difference. It's a big deal. So that's these are the tips that I'm giving y'all. And one of the examples I can give you is like for the members of my directory, we have always had our own little private rooms. Even people who weren't members of my directory, business owners that supported me, shop with me or something, I just wanted to thank them by providing a special space for them. But we now have a space for the directory members in our community. It's called the Small Business Wind Down. So if you have not already received an invite, you will receive an invite over the weekend as a member of the directory. And if you don't get your invite, go straight to our website or our portal, but you should get one. And in this room, we're going to talk on the first Saturday of every month. Everybody can just come and be human, release, talk about what you're going through. Like just release and be human and not feel like anybody's going to judge you for that. You can laugh, you can cry, you can scream to the top of your lungs, whatever it is you just need to do, get it all out. That's the purpose of this room, for us to be comfortable and be okay with being human. And we'll play games, we can laugh, we can talk together, we can update each other on what's going on in business and life. People can ask questions. I can answer questions about member benefits. I might not be able to answer questions about every single person's project because I don't have it on hand, but it's mainly sort of a room, a place of support for the members to come. Okay. We do have other rooms though that are dedicated to strictly business and, business consulting. But in the Small Business Wind Down, that's our safe space that I've created within our community for the directory members. So if you're a directory member and you want to meet us there, it'll be on March 7th at 3:30 to, I believe, 5:30. No, take that back. March 7th at 6 p.m. to 7:30. See, sorry, lost track for a second because I have the Small Business Expo from 3:30 to 5:30, so I was mistaking those two. My apologies. But yeah, so create your safe space. And now let's go back to this topic because I just needed to say that. So technology has kind of made people into being robotic. I do feel that way. There was something I saw on Instagram. It was about a mice study that was done years ago. I don't know if anybody saw that video, but it was a video of mice that they put in one box and they had the water and the food there. It was male and female. Excuse me. And over time they went extinct because they just stopped mating with one another. And it was from being overwhelmed because they're all put and confined in this box. And when I was watching it, I said, well, we have to keep in mind, because I was thinking one thing we didn't keep in mind about this study is that you have taken them out of their natural habitat and you've placed them in an entirely different control room. And that could have been what contributed to them feeling overstimulated by their opposite genders or sex or whatever you want to call it. Ooh, I hope that don't take me off Facebook for that. But I said we have to consider that. But then as I was saying that out loud, I thought, wait, that's humans. We have been taken out of our natural habitat, which is being in nature, being with each other, socializing with each other. And we've been placed in these electronic boxes that people spend their entire day on. Now, I don't spend my entire day on these. When I tell you the amount of notifications that are going to be rolling in tonight, like inboxes, DMs, I mean, you name it. I get overwhelmed just thinking about it at this moment. But yeah, it can be a lot. So my point is, a lot of times we spend our time in this technology and we are taking ourselves out of our natural habitat, which is being outside and being social. Sometimes being in a safe space, having a club, finding a place to go helps you to boost that confidence again, but also just be human because that's what we were meant to do. So yes, I do agree. Like technology has somewhat made people into being a little robotic, a little transactional, a little unable to communicate, and a little bit unable to even just disagree and challenge the thought process instead of the person. Everybody is so intense and angry and, just having conversation. This isn't as normal anymore. I'm not saying you got to talk about everything with everybody because some people are just beyond saving when it comes to certain conversations. But there's a level of socialization that I feel like technology has replaced in a sense. And it's important that you go find a healthy outlet so that you can be human and you can interact with people and put yourself out there, whether it's a virtual event, whether it's an in person event. Now, for my members that are nationwide, we're doing the small business wind down because everybody's in different states or different parts of the world. For the in person members that are based in Texas, we have the Texas events and anyone that wants to travel to Texas, but Texas is far for some people. So those are the top, the 21 hacks that I have, 21 mindset hacks. So I'm going to briefly go through the list one last time. And then I just want to end the live by letting everybody know about the sponsorship opportunity we have available and the membership opportunity. And if anyone knows any small business owners that would like to become a member of our directory, tell them now's the time to join. I mean, it's always the time to join at Boss Babe Blog, but things that we are doing for the community, with the community, and through the community are truly beautiful. So let's go back to these tips. 21 mindset hacks for entrepreneurs who want growth. Okay, practice discernment. All right, I put that part out there. So hack number 1, protect your mental. Hack number 2, protect your physical. Hack number 3, protect your dream. No outside or irrelevant opinions joining in the conversation of building your dream. Make sure you're talking to an expert. Hack number 4, find an outlet and be human. Hack number 5, don't put your leads, partners, clients in a box. Hack number 6, just do it if you really want it. Hack number 7, take accountability for your drive. Be honest with yourself about what you want. Hack number 8, make sure that you create work-life boundaries. Hack number 9, you are not Chat GPT. You can be of assistance, but you are not an assistant. Hack number 10, create a funding plan. It's going to take a lot off your plate. Hack number 11, learn to delegate. We have to learn to delegate. Hack number 12, be transparent about your funding and desires because it's going to take that level of stress off of you. Hack number 13, don't worry about who's going to be there. Just show up for yourself. Hack number 14, release entitlement. It shows up in many different ways and it has many different faces. Make sure that it's not sneaking up on you and always remind yourself that you are responsible for your business and for your dreams and for your growth. Hack number 15, it can't be a hobby. It has to be your calling. So this isn't a hobby. This is my calling. This isn't a hobby. This is my passion. This isn't a hobby. This is my everything, or whatever it is that you're going to replace that word with. But this isn't a hobby. This is my, and whatever that is. But you got to keep reminding yourself that this is not a hobby. And even if it is a hobby, it's not just a hobby. There's more to this business. It has to be, because the way we treat hobbies is different than the way we treat business. So hobbies is optional. Hobbies is, hey, I show up because I like it. I come when I come, and sometimes I don't. Business commitments is I'm here for the long run and I'm ready to work. Okay. Even on the days when it doesn't feel as fun, I'm ready to work because there's a calling or a purpose behind what I'm doing. Hack number 16, have patience like you do for bigger corporations or for other people. Heck, forget about corporations. Let's just talk about the patience that we have for other people. If you can have patience for one person, and how many times they've been trifling in your life or done things to you or other people, that you should darn sure be able to have patience for yourself. So learn to have that patience for yourself on the same level that you do for others. So that means when you go and you see these businesses that are, not doing so hot, but you still support, you still invest in them, you still show up, sounds like you need to do the same thing for yourself. So even on the days when it feels low, even on the days when it feels like you don't have any support, even the days when you want to give up because you feel like this is a slow day, keep showing up for yourself the same way you show up for other people all the time. All right. Hack number 17, move with abundance. Don't be so greedy. I know that facial expression was totally unnecessary, but don't be so greedy. Don't be so greedy. Move with abundance in all areas of business. If you're partnering with someone, move with abundance. Roll up your sleeves and see how you can help. If you're hiring a contractor, move with abundance. Don't try to short them when you know they're going to work hard for you. Pay them what they're worth. Don't try to, break people, use them and abuse them. Move with abundance. Come from a place of how can I be of service? How can I be of support? How can I offer growth? How can I help you? Okay. Now, even when you're purchasing services, you don't need to do this. You don't need them. You don't need to do the service for them. That's what you hire them for. But have an abundance mindset. When you're taking care of customers, have an abundance mindset, because it transfers into the energy that you give them. They see it, they feel it. So if it's not coming from a place of abundance, it's coming from a place of scarcity. And we don't want to come across scarce to the people that we're trying to show we have the abundance to assist them. Hello. All right. Next one is 18. Don't let trauma or being discouraged make you miss out on real support and professionals. Yes, you may have had some negative experiences in the business realm. You may have had some negative experiences in your personal realm or your romance realm, but don't allow trauma or negative experiences to stop you from having a great experience with somebody else. It's just as quick as, this isn't working for me. It might not be working for you, but it sure isn't working for me. I'm going to head on out and keep it moving. But don't sit in that and feel like you're never going to find somebody who is supportive and values you and is there for you. Because if I had that mindset, I wouldn't be where I'm at today with all of these wonderful entrepreneurs who have been supportive of me, of my brand, purchased my services, shared my services with other people, patronized my events. I wouldn't have that if I told myself after one negative experience that nobody was going to give me a positive experience. I've had wonderful collaborations, and I've had some that maybe they just weren't as productive for me. But I never once said in my mind, I'm never going to do this again, ever. I never said that, because I know that it's not a factor of will I find someone that this is going to be beneficial for. It's just a factor of when will I find them. And the only way I can answer that question is if I keep going. So don't let that trauma or bad experiences stop you from growing. Next, study effective communication and socializing. So learn how to talk to people. That's the best way I can put that. Like, talk to people the way you would want to be talked to. And heck, let's go even further. Pay attention to people and figure out the way they would like to be talked to. Because you might be okay with somebody talking to you like a dog, or talking to you crazy, or talking to you like you're, the help. Shout out to the help. Nothing wrong with the help. But the way that people talk to the help in a negative connotation, I mean the people who are, do this for me and you do that. If you're okay with that, that's different. But somebody else who you're trying to show that you are the solution might not be okay with that, and it might not be attractive, and they may not come shop with you, and they probably aren't going to recommend you. So just learning how to speak to people, it really is important. So study effective communication, study socialization. I know it sounds so like, basic. Somebody might say study effective communication. Yes, study it, because effective communication is different from desired communication. I'm sure there's been many times in your life where you wanted to tell somebody something the way that you wanted to tell them, but then you had to ask yourself, now, what is that going to really get me? Is it going to be effective? Is the message going to be received? And am I going to receive the results that I'm seeking? Because if it's not, then it's not effective. For example, maybe you're working with somebody and you start to notice that they are slacking off, right? Okay. Now, going to them and saying, hey, I just think you're lazy and I don't want to work with you anymore. Yeah, that might be what you feel. You might want to say it in that moment, but is the result that you want for them to quit and leave off and, never come back? I mean, if that's what you want, that's the result you want, then maybe it doesn't matter to you. But if the result that you want is for them to be more productive and start to get more work done and show up a little harder, then you're probably not going to use that verbiage. You're probably just going to simply say, hey, I need more support from you. What can I do to be more clear in the type of support I need so that we can get this done together? Is there anything that you're struggling with right now? Like asking the questions, it's important. So that moves to the next one, which was hack number 20. Don't lead with fear or aggression, lead with listening. Um, this is something that comes with time because naturally, as humans, when people do stuff that irritates you, you just want to, what's wrong with you? But learning to say, hey, let me lead with listening, which means you have to ask questions in order to listen. So we're not starting off with being aggressive. We're not telling somebody what they need to do. I can't tell you how many conversations I've had with professionals, and to be able to watch it in real time, it just gives me motivation on what not to do when I'm dealing with potential clients and leads. Because I've had interactions where people have been like aggressively selling something to me on why I need to buy something or why I need to join something. You need this, and yeah, you need that. It's really what you need. You want to sign up for this. It's going to get you this, this, and that. And you need this and you want that. And this is why. Just going through a whole spew of what I need and why I need it. Not once did they ask me, what kind of support are you seeking at this time? Tell me about the direction you're going with your business. Tell me what's important to your brand. Or not once did they ever say, hey, I noticed, I observed that this is important to your brand, or I observed that you need that. None of that. It was just a list and spews of what I need and you need. And when you do that, you miss out on some great clients and you miss out on some great partnerships. Don't lead with aggression or with irritation or with passive aggressiveness or fear. Lead with listening. Ask questions. Ask to understand, not to argue. And you're going to get so much information from a person. When you ask questions, sometimes they answer everything that you were thinking. Sometimes they save your time because when you ask the questions, they give you everything you need to hear. And it tells you whether or not you need to get up and move to the next room or if you need to stay here and do your work and do what you came here to do. So the last one, find your safe space. Hack number 21, find your safe space. Thank you for your feedback, Charlie. I appreciate you. And I will do some more lives like this where I'm just giving out, some hacks, some tips for entrepreneurs, for life, for business, for self-care, all of that. But now that I've shared all of those hacks, anyone who hops on a little bit later, thank you for joining. You can go and rewind and watch the replay. I do want to end with two pieces of information. The first one is that we do have a Become a Sponsor special available right now. And I also have a business branding experience. So I'm going to just focus on the sponsor and become a member right now, because that's the one that I'm really, thinking about. So the link is attached to this live, depending on where you're watching. If you're watching on Instagram, you may have to just go to our YouTube channel or just go to our website and type in the search engine, the little magnifying glass, Become a Member March, and it will pop up on the screen. But basically, I have a special offer available today for people that want to become members of our directory and people that would like to become a sponsor of our show. So the sponsor offer is $40. And what that $40 provides is the ability for us to fund our online Boss Babe business show and also fund our in-person events. So the funding from the sponsors goes towards production. It goes towards lighting. It goes towards if we're doing events where we're feeding people, like, giving out food, gift bags, it's just creating that extra funding source because all of the Boss Babe blog events are funded and hosted through Boss Babe blog. So it does take a lot of time, hands, and support and, labor in there. And, we're going to keep doing it, but I wanted to try to create a way where we can start to develop sponsors and we can also promote those sponsors if they're entrepreneurs. So if you happen to be an entrepreneur and you would like to sponsor our brand, you are more than welcome to. If you are not an entrepreneur, but you just want to sponsor, you're more than welcome to. And if you have a friend or a family member that has a business that you want to put on a flyer, I'll do that for you. Or I can just say thank you. It's up to you. But that option is available. Like I said, it's $40. And in exchange for sponsoring, we're going to gift you with 40 shout outs on our live Boss Babe business show. So you will have your brand on the flyer that we create for you or that you send us if you have a specific flyer. And we're going to play your ad for 1 minute. And while we play your ad, we're going to talk a little bit about the services that you provide briefly and then move on to the next sponsor. But we're going to shout that brand out at least 40 times this year. So if you want to become a sponsor, we have 8 more sponsorship opportunities available at the sponsor offer price of $40. We already did our first round. So we already have 12 sponsors now. We need 8 more before the sponsor offer changes and goes closer to the original price. The original price to have your brand shouted out 40 times, one time on 40 different shows for the remainder of this year is $150. Our YouTube channel is going up. We are growing it extremely fast. So with this rapid growth, we are also seeing a lot more engagement on our YouTube, on our Instagram. We're seeing new viewers coming through. We have just surpassed 9,000. We surpassed 9,000 views for the month of February alone. Last month of January, we were at 6,600 views. So to increase that by 3,000 more views and to our channel, and we still have 1 more week to go. Amazing. So I've already surpassed 2 of the goals that I set for February. The first goal was for us to reach 8,000 views to our channel. Surpassed it. Second goal was to reach 10,000 views. We're about to be passing it probably after this live. So if you're wanting to have your brand advertised on our channel as we're growing, this is a perfect time to do so. I mean, it's always a perfect time because we're just consistently elevating. But if you go to our channel, you will see that we now have over 170 subscribers. We are working very hard to get towards 200. And our next goal will be 3, then 4, and then hopefully 300 to 500 by the end of the year. So this channel's growing. This platform is expanding. And if you would like to be a part of that and you want your brand advertised on 40 more shows as we continue to expand and grow, then you can go ahead and become a sponsor and use the link that is attached to this live. If you have questions about anything that I've shared today, go to bossbabeblog.com and click on the Contact Us page. On the Contact Us page, you have the option of either booking a consult where we can sit down one-on-one and discuss this, or filling out a form and having your information texted or emailed back to you so you can get a quick answer. Now, if it's something that you're wanting to sit down one-on-one, then we can discuss in a one-on-one meeting. However, I did want to make sure I made that opportunity aware for anybody who, or available and open for anybody that wants to snag that. Now, the next offer that I have available is for any entrepreneurs that would like to become a member of our directory. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to read off the benefits that you're going to receive for 2 years. Normally, it would cost, well, depending on which membership you're signing up for you. We got a few, so hold on a second. I'm going to bossbabeblog.com. So when you go to bossbabeblog.com, you can click on the page that says either join our directory or directory member benefits, which honestly, directory member benefits probably is going to be your preferred page because it kind of shows you visually everything that you receive. So with this offer, you're receiving the benefits of the yearly membership for 2 years. Normally, that would cost, the current price for that is $2,000. However, you would be receiving it for almost 90% off or 95% off. So it's going to come down to $250. Okay. And then let's see. You can also use my code, capital KAY, and receive an additional 10% off if you wanted to sign up for that. Excuse me. The link is attached to this live. It is $250. The sponsor offer, it's set at $40 though. So you would not be able to get the sponsorship unless you're paying the $40 price. And we have 8 of those left. Now, the sponsor offer, should I say, because you're sponsoring us and we're providing that advertisement on our platforms for 40 more shows. Now, for the membership benefit, if you decide that you wanted to sign up as a member, you're going to pay $250 unless you want to use my 10% off code, KAY, and then you're going to receive $25 off of that order. Now, if you want to become a sponsor and a member, you can. You just need to purchase them separately. So buy the sponsorship, $40, buy the membership at $225 when you use my coupon code KAY when you check out. So you would be able to sponsor and have your brand in our directory. Now let's move to the benefits because that's what I was originally talking about. So when you go to bossbabeblog.com, you click on directory member benefits and this screen pops up, right? So you scroll down and you would be receiving our yearly benefits if you sign up for this special offer. So to become a member, you got all member benefits and then you have yearly member benefits. That means you're going to get both of those. So we'll start at the top. The first benefit that you receive is a new member support session. And this is where I learn about your business, why you started, what inspires you, what kind of clients you're seeking, what kind of networking partners you're looking for, what kind of characteristics you look for in people in your network, so that when I'm talking to other professionals and I start to hear things that align with you, I can send them directly to you. So that's the first thing that you'll receive. The second thing that you're going to receive, oh, and also so we can just figure out what kind of business support that you need so that I can figure that out and then get back with you. I figure out what your funding is at the moment so I can find support that aligns with your funding, but still provides you with the solution. So that's what that's about. The next thing is your private directory member Instagram chat. So we have a private IG chat where directory members can come together, talk, connect, all that good stuff. And then we have a private directory member Facebook group. So the Facebook community is similar, but it's also if you want to post like partnerships that you have available or questions or just network with other professionals, that's what it's there for. Then we have the small business wind down. So this is available to all directory members. It's on the first Saturday of the month at 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Central Time. And this is a room dedicated to our directory members so they can have a place to unwind, be human, laugh, cry, or just catch up. And that's what this room is for. It's just a big thank you to everyone that decides to become a member. Then we have a member shopping thread. So this is a shopping thread that we created so that everybody can take turns shopping with one business in our directory at a time. And basically after everybody shops with that business, they submit a form, and then we get to put everybody's name on a raffle and figure out who we're all going to shop with next time. So there you have it. All right. Then we have our business branding consultation. So this is where we sit down and discuss what branding goals you have if you're needing assistance with that. Now, I know for some people, business owners that come to me, they're not necessarily seeking branding services. They're seeking marketing services and or just advertisement services. Branding and marketing kind of go hand in hand to an extent. Marketing, advertising, where you just want your brand advertised or promoted, you don't have to take advantage of this. You can use it for a different session. Like we could sit down and talk about something that you have questions on for your brand. But if you do want that branding insight and assistance, I can help you with that. Then we have business performance assessment. So this is where we talk about where your business is trending right now, sales wise, lead capture wise, like lead capturing systems or lead funneling systems. We talk about all of that together. And the reason why is so that we can come together with a plan that's a little bit more realistic and works towards where you're trying to go. Then we have our business interviewing class. It's a master class. It's a quick, simple master class that just walks through some of the things that you want to think about when interviewing for your business on a blog, on a podcast, on any platform, how to juice the platform, what mindsets you might want to walk into there with. I share that information with you. And then we start doing business interviews if you want to. So we have a live streaming business interview where you can come on my live show, the Boss Babe Business Show, and be interviewed with multiple entrepreneurs to talk about your solution that you're providing and one topic of your choice. Then we have our informative blog interview. So this is a detailed blog interview where we're learning all about your brand. And in the process of learning about your brand, we go ahead and publish this to our viewers and our readers so they can learn about you. Click on the link and go and shop your website or subscribe to your newsletter or check out your products. But it's basically a way for the audience to get to know you on a more intimate level. That's what it's about. Then we have the group sales mentorship call. So like I said, this isn't your, I don't want to say basic, but I want to say this isn't your average directory experience. We're not just taking your business and listing it on the directory. We are providing branding consults, performance consults, business support sessions, emotional support sessions. If you're needing help with finding a certain community or you're just needing a different type of support, we talk about all of that together. And then I go and see what I can find that aligns with you. But then on top of that, you also receive group sales mentorship calls. So this is where everybody joins at the first Monday or the second Monday of the month to come and talk about sales, how we can grow our sales, how we can better define our business, how we can elevate overall. That's what the rooms are dedicated to. So if you are someone that needs that level of support, then I highly recommend that you come and join and be a part of the group sales mentorship call. Now, then we have our sales business planning session. So this is where we sit down and we plan out, we do your business plan together. If you don't need it, then you can just use that session for something different, like I said before. But if you do need help with your business plan and, just refining it, I'm here for you. Then we have a brand storytelling masterclass where you can just go learn about, better ways to tell stories about your brand and explain what it is that you do. Then we have the podcasting masterclass. You can learn how to start your own podcast if you're ready for that. Then we have the branded podcast interview. So this is where we will conduct a branded interview one-on-one to learn about your business and place you on our podcast. Then we have our podcast discussion panel access. So this is where we all sit down as a group to discuss, things, different conversations and concepts and topics. We talk about lifestyle. We talk about business. We talk about growth. We talk about family, friendship. We're just talking about this year. Our topic is how can we make a more enriching experience for us in different relations in our life? How can I have a more enriching romantic experience? How can I have a more enriching business experience? How can I have a more enriching friendship experience? How can I have a more enriching family experience? Those are the conversations that we're having this year because we're all about building, elevating the community, and sharing wisdom. Then you have 24 special event invitations. So we're going to invite you to 24 special events based off your industry. You also receive extended advertising on all platforms. So we'll continue to advertise your solutions on our newsletter with our subscribers and on our website. And that is all of the wonderful benefits that you receive as a yearly member. And because you would be signing up with this special offer, you would be getting all those benefits for 2 years instead of 1 year. The price right now is $250. The regular price for 1 year is $1,000 as of now. So if you want to take advantage of this offer where you just pay $250 one time upfront, no reoccurring payments, it's just a one-time payment, then you can sign up and become a member of our directory. And we would love to promote you in our business. If you want to know a little bit more about me and who I am, what I do, you can go to bossbabeblog.com, look on the home page. I talk about it in my video, but I am a small business loyalist. I'm a small business specialist. I'm a business promotion specialist, and I'm also a business elevation specialist. Those all have very different meanings for me and for my clients, but small business loyalist is the first thing that I'm passionate about sharing with everyone because I'm all about promoting small businesses in our directory, in our community for multiple reasons. The first reason is because I truly believe, I know that you don't have to, but I truly believe that when you have clients and people who purchase from your brand, you should pour back into them. You should invest in them, send them referrals, send them resources, create safe spaces for them. I truly believe that. I also believe in supporting the support system. So when you have those people in your life, whether they're clients, friends, family members, or all of the above, you support those people. You pour back into them on the level that they have with you, because that's how we build a functioning community where we are circulating that support and that circulating our dollars. So I truly believe in circulating our dollars within the small business community, supporting our support systems, but also creating an elevated experience for those that would like their brand listed in a directory, but also with like ongoing support. So it's not just receiving a service. You receive a family, you receive a support system, you receive a community, and it's there for you as long as you want to be there. So those are the things that come with that. And I mean, I've had clients say it on my lives, on my podcast, but if you use the resources, if you come to the meetings, I can help you elevate your business and grow. You won't be in the same place that you were last year if you come to your meetings and we get to work. So that's just something that is always going to be, it's always going to happen that way. Come to the meeting, show up, pull your sleeves up and get to work. We're going to elevate your business. And if you're struggling, you need support, you don't know where to go, you have questions, you're not sure who to trust, this is a credible and reliable brand. We have multiple businesses that are extremely reliable and passionate. All of them that are listed directory are reliable, passionate about servicing their customer and providing a solution. And so that's another reason why I love to promote small businesses. Even as we're speaking tonight, I don't have my lipstick on me, but I'm wearing lipstick from Carlita Cosmetics, a brand that's listed in our directory. I have skincare. My skin's glowing from Juicy Malungi Cosmetics and NBC.Click. 2 businesses listed in our directory. One of them is mine and one of them is another business owner based out of South Dakota. Carlita Cosmetics is based out of Texas. My necklace is coming from Bling with Shell. She's based out of California. She's an amazing individual who actually donated to our previous events. So my nails, my press-on nails are coming from Nails by Fair. The dress that's on the mannequin behind me is coming from Anotherness Boutique. The shoes that are behind me are coming from Bougie Steps Boutique. The anklet that's on the mannequin is coming from Innovative Treasures. The eye makeup back here that you guys can somewhat see, somewhat can't see, is coming from Carlita Cosmetics. So, you know, people often say, put your money where your mouth is. And people also say, to actually walk the walk. And that's what we do here at Boss Babe Blog. If you're looking for people who are serious about promoting small businesses, shopping with them, advertising them, I do that loyally for my clients. And on top of that, I place them in rooms and give them resources so they can continue to grow their brand. So if you're a business owner and you're looking for real support, and you're looking for not just the advertising service, but the guidance and the community and the support that comes behind it, then you want to be a part of Boss Babe Blog, and you want to take advantage of the special offer before it ends, because it will be ending on the 1st of March. So take advantage. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. I hope that you enjoyed these tips that we shared. If you're watching this live way after March, the special offer will most likely have disappeared, or it's going to be higher. So take advantage while you can. But even if you don't get to take advantage of the special offer, one thing is always sure: you will still always have an amazing experience, and it will very much be worth it. So thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you to all of our Instagram viewers. I appreciate you. Shout out to Bella Boutique, Kalia, based out of Texas, joining us. Shout out to Christoph. Thank you for joining us. Shout out to Charlie. Thank you for watching and joining us, based out of Virginia. Thank you to AL Publishing and Consulting, aka Nicole and the team. Thank you for watching, based out of Louisiana. Thank you, Lyric. I appreciate you for watching as well. Thank you, Rosalia, for joining in. I appreciate you also. And I hope that everybody has a wonderful evening. I look forward to seeing you guys again on Thursday at the Boss Babe Business Show. Bye-bye.